What's good, y'all? Elite live streams. We back with another one. How you guys doing out there? Welcome to another live stream. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Salute to all of our new subscribers who have joined the channel. Salute to all of you guys, man. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be able to make it into your feed, right? You guys have been showing a lot of love. We definitely appreciate the growth that is happening here because, of course, we couldn't do anything without you guys. So thank you so much. You guys have been tuning in. You've been leaving comments. You've been showing love. We've been feeling the love. So we're here and we got to keep going, right? So we already talked about Mr. Paul Birdsong, right? The fake Panther who, you know what I'm saying? We from the beginning already knew that this guy was a government agent or some sort of representation of a government agency, right? We could see that from a mile away. And so I think for us, as foundational Black Americans, we were paying attention, we were trying to see like what was going on. And I always like to say, at least from my perspective, that I don't mind not being first when it comes to a lot of these stories and controversies, because I would much rather have a much more distinct picture and an understanding, right? I would rather let these stories play out so then I can watch, right, and make my own assessment from the information that's given, as well as the witness accounts, and as well, the internet is undefeated. So whatever you put out there in your past will always find a way to come back, right? And so that's kind of what I was peeping. I was waiting to see kind of, what was going to happen. This Paul Birdsong guy, you know what I'm saying? The new Black Panther Party. There was a lot going on. You feel me? Of course, there was, the ICE protest, right? That kind of just sparked up right after the unaliving of the Renee Good. So once that happened, boom, you had this Paul Birdsong guy coming out there at the protest, right? Making a lot of very aggressive claims towards not only the government, but as well ICE. And we weren't feeling that. It felt a little bit forced. It felt a little bit unauthentic. And a lot of us looked at that and said, hold up, this doesn't seem right. Something seems a little off about this guy. And that's the beautiful thing. Like on my last live stream, right, I talked about making more of a stance where people have to show their work, right? You have to show your work. Like, what do you do? Who are you? What do you represent? Where did you come from, right? Where did you come from? And that was a big one. A lot of people were trying to understand, like, where did this guy come from? Who is this guy? And so naturally, a lot of people said, all right, bet, let's figure out who he is. And so a lot of people did their research. A lot of people found out that he was a part of a lot of different organizations and that it just didn't seem right. Something seemed a little off about this guy, right? And so a lot of us sat back and we said, I bet, let's see what happens, right? Let's let the controversy play out. Let's let the researchers do what they do, let the internet do what it does. And sure enough, like clockwork, we had many of people coming out, specifically Huey P. Newton's niece came out and made it clear that Huey P. Newton had a specific stance in what he represented as a Black Panther. She came out and completely denounced what this brother was talking about. She had nothing to say. She said, yo, this dude is a lame. He's not a part of our organization. He is a fraud. And so that kind of started, right? It started the snowball. Then more people started looking into this. Of course, I'm going to play you guys the video that he just came out. Now he has had some talking to. Some people got in his ear and let him know, hey, brother, you can't be going around claiming the Black Panthers. This name cannot be used. We do not align with what you are trying to portray. And we will put legal action if necessary. Now, that part I can also say that we still have to hear the details, because in my opinion, I think it was more than just legal action that was threatened. I think there was a real talking to about, hey, man, We are still very well connected. And if you continue to disgrace our name, continue to disgrace the brand, we will have to deal with that. And that is justifiably so. Because like we said, since the beginning, when this first came out, I told you guys right here on this channel that this dude was a government agent. There was no way that this guy was a real person who would come out here making these type of threats and looking the way that he looks. Now, a lot of people had the same thing, right? A lot of people had the same assessment, right? The looks weren't matching up. The energy wasn't matching up. The overall vibe, it just wasn't there. We just weren't feeling it, you know? And of course, I played it cool. I said, all right, let's wait for the information, right? Let's wait for more to come out. Let's let other content creators do their thing. And so naturally, like they do, the internet is undefeated. And they found out a lot about this brother. And it turns out he was exactly what I already said he was: a fake, a fraud. And that's the beauty now in this time that we're in. During this time of foundational Black Americans delineating from everyone else, that gives us a specific code that everybody has to subject themselves to. There's a paywall now. There's a certain type of process that a lot of people must go through now in order to be considered and then supported. All right, considered and then supported. Because here's the thing: foundational Black Americans is just a lineage, so a lot of us have our own ways of thinking. So we're all not going to be on the same accord when it comes to who we want to support. But if we can see that your lineage aligns with what we can see, if we can tell, hey man, this person has the right heart, he knows what he's talking about, he's doing the right things, he's connected with the right people, then that makes it much easier for us to be able to support said person. But in this specific case, all those things did not check those boxes. And naturally, a lot of people had a lot to say. And that's why I wanted to wait. I wanted to wait and make sure that everybody got to say what they got to say. All the information came out so that I could come back and make a cool assessment and reaction to what I already told you guys. Is that foundational Black Americans right now in this time, we are going to see the tactics, propaganda, and as well, there is going to be a push to infiltrate what we have started here, right here in the grassroots. All right? The grassroots right here, this is what they want to infiltrate next. So they are using what? A lot of virtue signaling, right? This is a lot of virtue signaling, right? You've seen this thing happen to Renee Good. They're trying to make it in an equation to, hey man, the police are out of control. ICE is out of control. Get ICE out. When for generations, foundational Black Americans have been speaking about police brutality. Foundational Black Americans have been speaking about how the government treats us, how they are killing us, how we are being victimized, and also targeted. And they chose not to listen. So now, unfortunately, the chickens are coming home to roost, right? Now, all this stuff that we voted for them to actually reform, they chose against that. And so now they must deal with the consequences of their choices. And so now you have this guy come out here wearing the badge, speaking the language, trying to relate to foundational Black Americans and how we feel about a specific topic, which is police brutality. He comes out here spewing all these things, saying that he's a part of the new Black Panther Party, all this stuff, trying to virtue signal to foundational Black Americans, hey man, we out here, y'all need to get out here. Mind you, when we have collectively already decided that, hey man, we're gonna sit this one out, we're gonna let you guys figure this out. We done enough fighting. We voted who we wanted to vote for. We tried our best to make sure that we steered this ship in the right direction. Y'all chose not to listen. So now you must deal with the consequences of your actions. We sat back and we collectively decided this. So when you send these agents out here to try to virtue signal to foundational Black Americans to say, hey, we're out here fighting against ICE, and we're trying to represent for immigration and immigrants, foundational Black Americans said, that seems a little off. That doesn't seem right. Something seems uneasy here. I don't like this. And so naturally, like I always say, foundational Black Americans run the internet. We run the internet. Everything that we do is trending. Everything that we create is the hottest shit. That's what we do. So naturally, we went ahead and we did our research, right? And so boom, all this stuff starts to come up. And now, of course, like I told you guys, he got that talking to, and they said, nah, bruh, we're not down. You're not a part of our organization. You got to drop the flag, homie. And so here's his response now. What a clown. Listen to this dude.
No, it was on Paul Birdsong. I got a message from Aaron Dixon today saying that he no longer supports us. That after he gave me orders to make a video saying that him and other members were coming, that he withdrew his support. And that he said that this situation is unimportant to him.
Now, let's start there. Unimportant to him, right? And I love this perspective. I heard a perspective out there, and it made much sense. They said it's okay to change your mind, and that's facts. Maybe he did at one point support what they were doing. Then he saw the publicity and propaganda. He talked to the people and the family, and he said, nah, we can't be a part of this, brother. You're going to have to take our name off of this because we do not have any interest in this topic. What is the topic? Immigration, right here in America, for who? People who do not have any type of empathy or respect for foundational Black Americans. This is not our fight. We have collectively already decided, and like I said, this was a collective decision. Now, foundational Black Americans said, let them go ahead and handle their business. We're going to sit back and we're going to allow y'all to do what you got to do. And so when he speaks and says that, he said that it was unimportant to him, I can actually understand that sentiment. And that is 100% how probably the conversation went. And mind you, he has more than enough to speak and stand on that and say, bro, you're on your own. You're going to have to figure it out, but you cannot use our name. I think that's more than understanding. And look how he's pouting, though. Look at the energy, right? Just because this government agent couldn't get this off on us.
Even though my comrades have risked their lives and spent thousands of hours of their time and dollars in life standing behind a cause, you know. He said he's going to make a statement saying no one has the right to call himself a Black Panther going forward. I told him,
of course they don't. Of course they don't. And that's what I'm saying. These people are not even original, right? This is the point. We've already had that time. They put in the hours. They put in the work. A lot of these people ended up in prison for the rest of their lives fighting for us. Do you think that you have enough blood in the game to even think that you are on that level? These people who were a part of this organization, a lot of them were former veterans, people who had tactical skill sets, who were trained, well-trained, fit, and also helping out the community. It wasn't just propaganda and videos, bruh. It wasn't just for clout, my guy. They were actually ready for war. These guys got on here, and like I said, I looked at the body. And I said, nah, this brother, he not even in shape enough to be making these type of threats. He's not even game enough, bro. There's no way. You're not on that level, family. And mind you, that is something that is integral in what a militant organization, right? It's being fit. It's being fit not only physically, but mentally, as well, understanding the law, understanding your enemy. This guy came out here spewing out these erroneous threats to people who I could tell, like we all said, if this was anybody else who was making these level of threats, he would not be out here making response videos and all this type of stuff. He would be on their list immediately. Something you must pay attention to, my people, because this is how it happens. The infiltration, and like I said, the gaslighting and virtue signaling to foundational Black Americans as a co-opt organization that has done so much for our community. They're trying to make sure that we get out there and we're just, nah, we see the play, bro. You're not slick, bro. You're not that smart, bro.
For him to make sure that he put in that statement that he did, in fact, give us the right to call ourselves that, because I still have the messages where he did, just in case he doesn't.
Like I said, people are free to change their mind. And even if he was to bring out some messages, who's to say that you couldn't make those online? Who's to say that those could not be doctored text messages? You can make anything look like anything these days on the internet. And that's why I always tell y'all, man, the internet is not a real place. The basis of this is to always make sure that your eyes are open to understanding that all this is fake. And in reality, we have to see through it, because this dude, people like him, are dangerous. They are sent here to create chaos and confusion within our community. And we have to be as steadfast as we can to call this out. This is literally the point of why I have this platform, is to be able to call out people and fake stuff like this, so that whoever watches this video, whoever comes across my channel, can actually take this and say, you know what, we got to watch out for these type of people, man, because they out here running plays. Look at this, man. They really tried to have y'all out there and losing y'all body. Okay. Just saw that dude just get unalived. All right, we're going to talk about that, you know what I'm saying, sometime this week. But they wanted that to be us. Please never forget that. They wanted that to be us. Never forget this.
And I put in there also, make sure that you put in there that Emory Douglas did give us the right to wear that emblem, because I still have the messages where that happened too. But as it stands, because of that, because of me and my comrades risking our lives and all the heat that we went under, because of the counter-revolutionary practices, because we don't believe in Black nationalism, like Bobby Seals said in the video that I shared on my page earlier, that Black nationalism is acquiesced to racism, and that we don't stand like that we're internationalists and intercommunalists, just like Huey Newton said. We will no longer identify with this flag. We will no longer identify ourselves as the Black Panther Party for self-defense. We're going to take OG from the town's advice. We're going to take the name that he decided to put out there. We're going to call ourselves the Black Lion Party for International Solidarity.
The Black Lion Party for International Solidarity. Listen, man, I'm telling y'all, man, these people were sent. This was a psychological operation, man. They wanted to see if they could still use the same tactics to get us out there, man. I'm telling y'all, a lot of times, you know, there were times when, especially on this YouTube internet era, where there was all these conspiracy theories, right, about, you know, how people were infiltrating organizations, specifically Black American organizations, and how, you know, we also saw how literally the Black Panthers were dismantled because of this. And so now for them to come back, right, in 2026 to try to use the same tactics to be able to not only get people out there, right, but to get the Black people out there, to get Black people to risk their lives, man, risk their lives. And what? In solidarity with people who are not in solidarity with us, right? That would literally set us back so much. And that's why a lot of people have a problem with the delineation that has happened But I tell people all the time, man, you guys cannot force something on us that is a response. Okay? This is not something that, oh yeah, we're just going to do this to make somebody feel some type of way. I always make this clear. Foundational Black Americans do not have any problems with anyone. Delineation is specifically about self-preservation and us making sure that we are taking care of ourselves and making sure that whoever represents our lineage is within and on code. If you do not align with what we're on and the way that we're moving, if you are not speaking to the things that we need in our own nation to build, we cannot be associated with you. That's literally all this is. We saw what happened when everyone voted how they voted. And we said, okay, bet. If this is how everyone feels, if this is what you guys want, then from now on, we must move differently. We must move differently. Facts. Salute to Certified NC. Gatekeeping did that. Salute. Yes, it did. We did not allow ourselves to be co-opted anymore. We are not allowing ourselves to be easily manipulated. And that's what this whole Paul Birdsong thing was about. It was them trying to manipulate us emotionally. Like I said, this was virtue signaling. They used an organization that means so much to us in our community, an organization that has risked so much in our community, an organization that holds up so much status in our community, to try to use that to get us out here in an aggressive manner that will affect us, okay? Regardless of how anybody speaks about what organization he chooses to change his name to next, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, they're going to look at that as all of our group. And that's why delineation was so important. We cannot allow that anymore. We can't hold the cross anymore. That weight has been lifted. And that's what I said on my last stream. It's so important for us to always let go of that weight. Foundational Black Americans, let it go. Let it go. We good. We've done enough. You guys need to stop feeling guilty about it. We've done enough. I remember, okay? I'm old enough to remember the Rodney King riots. Them happened right in my city, okay? I was young enough to remember the pain and the suffering that was within my community when them cops just walked off. Nothing happened to them. The press conferences, Rodney King up there talking about, can we all just get along? So what? Now that it's happening to their community, Black Americans are supposed to now fight for them too? Bruh, y'all remember All Lives Matter? Because I do. Do y'all remember All Lives Matter? Because I remember All Lives Matter. I remember that. I remember, okay? Y'all act like it was so long ago. Oh, it wasn't that long ago where they were screaming All Lives Matter when we was trying to scream Black Lives Matter. And regardless of how you feel about the organization now, then it was a very important statement to make because it's true and our lives do matter. But unfortunately, just like everything else, they co-opt the movement. But this one, they can't do that anymore. They can't do that to a lineage. You can't co-opt a lineage. Sorry, guys. This one is us. We got this now. Y'all can't do that no more. We watched how they co-opt a movement that was supposed to be about police reform, police brutality. It was supposed to be about an anti-Black hate crime bill. We didn't get any of that. And so, yeah, we have to change up our mentality because we weren't getting the tangibles. So when I look at these type of situations and them trying to gaslight us, all right, trying to change the narrative, he talking about, oh, I got to drop the flag now. Bro, please. Nobody even wanted you here, family. What do we need you for if you're not trying to help the movement, bro? And on top of that, you're also representing something that goes against what we're trying to stand for right now. which is the representation of foundational Black Americans of what we need. All right? Sorry, guys, enough. We've already fought. We've already died for this for too long, y'all. We got to start shifting our focus to things that actually matter. Like what? Like what we need in an anti-Black hate crime bill, police reform for foundational Black Americans, reparations and cash payments and land grants that are entitled to our ancestors that were stolen from them. That's what we're talking about. Tangibles, family. Y'all could make this conversation all you want to make it, but I'm always going to bring it back to the focus. And the focus is what? Not allowing people to come into our movements and co-opt what we've already built here and calling it out every single time. That's what I built this platform for. I'm not on here trying to be Mr. Breaking News and have the first story. I'm going to come out, wait for the details, and then I'm going to give my assessment based on the facts. And what do the facts tell us? The facts tell us that Paul Birdsong was used as a psychological operation to gaslight and virtue signal to foundational Black Americans to get out here and be the ones to die and put our bodies on the line for everyone else once again. Once again. Not just, oh, okay, today. No, once again, because this happens every single time. We know this. We know this. So salute to y'all. Yes, sir. Drop that truth. Thank you, Mr. Mwale the Elder. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, Elder. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. We are trying to grow over here, and it only happens with you guys' support. So please make sure you can like, share, subscribe, because that helps us grow. We're trying to make sure that this truth reaches everybody, right? Because we need platforms who are willing to put in the work and not be afraid to shame the devil when some BS is going on in our communities, right? So let's continue to watch this disrespectful liar, right? This disrespectful liar continue his rant.
Reason for the international solidarity is because we will stand with the immigrants. We will stand with the people being terrorized for ICE. We will stand with any oppressed people across the world. We will keep feeding every single day, keep offering food every single day. We will keep patrolling the community with guns. We will keep stopping drug dealers, keep stopping.
And like I always say, guys, what do I say on this here channel? What do I say on this here channel? We need the receipts. We need you to show your work, Mr. Birdsong. If you are feeding people in the community, is there somewhere that we can go to support it? What organizations are you helping? Can we see video evidence of this? Enough with these people getting on here just talking. We need to see the work. No more are the days of people being able to hop up on the internet and not be out here in the fucking real world. Excuse my language, but that's real. We cannot, no more, gone are the days or people can just come on here and talk without actually doing something to back up what they're talking about. All right. He's talking about feeding the community. Where's the food bank? Where can we find it? What dates are you guys feeding the community? And you want to know why I'm saying that? Because I am a part of one that helps my community right here where I'm from. So guess what? When you get on here and you talk, you better show your work. Don't hop on this internet trying to gaslight people and make them think that you are a part of something without showing your work. And let me make this clear to anybody who listens to this video. In life, you must always be who you say you are. Do not get on the internet and be fake. Enough. Be a real person in the real world doing real things. That's tight. Not lying on the internet trying to gaslight people. Salute to Mike Jones. He says all the black athletes in America must leave their plantations and enroll in HBCUs. HBCUs should be playing for national championships every year. We would love that, sir. But guess what? The system of professional sports, because college sports is not amateur sports anymore, guys. You missed the point. Professional sports now starts in high school now. All right. So on the professional level now, there is no way that the black colleges can compete when it comes to NIL, because the caste system and booster clubs of these specific PWIs, we gonna need every black billionaire to invest every dollar they have in our communities, and they just won't do it. And that's the reality, guys. That's the reality, unfortunately. The ones who have will not, and the ones who can always reach a ceiling. That's just what it is, y'all. And so naturally, this is what we have. And mind you, in my opinion, I feel like sports in general is, we're going to keep that for another conversation, because sports right now, I got a lot to say about sports, but we're going to keep it on the real conversation here. Let's go.
The sex traffickers, will keep stopping police brutality. This little plaque that I got, it says Paul Birdsong, and there's a panther says since 2020. I don't regret the work that I've done because it's brought me to this point. But going forward, these panther patches will no longer be on my uniforms. Me and my comrades stand independent.
The theatrics, the disrespect. Y'all see how he just throws it on the ground now, right? Has no value to him anymore. He couldn't even go out respectfully. And this is always a learning point for me using my channel, because I like to speak as well, not only to people who listen, but also young boys. And I want the young boys to know, burning bridges is the worst thing that you can do. All right? Burning bridges is the worst thing that you can do as a man. It's not about as well how you go in, but it's as well how you leave. Word? And this is a prime example of an emotional person who tried to get something off and was exposed. And now that he cannot get it off, right? He's leaving emotionally. I'm done. I'm going to throw my little badge. I've had enough. Pay attention, fellas. This is not how you carry yourself as a man. This is not how you should move as a man. You take your L's and you move along respectfully. Respectfully. But when you do stuff like this, where you're moving around and you're talking crazy, you're throwing badges on the ground, I'm denouncing the Panthers. Bro, we knew you wasn't a Panther to begin with, dog. Newsflash, we already knew you was fake, bro. So the best thing you could have did was said, respectfully, I will respect the elders' wishes. We are going to now change our name to the Lions Party. You know what I mean? Lions Party of international defense. And then you do your thing. But to do it this way, like I said, you burn bridges, and we're all paying attention to this now. And like I said, anyone who joins in with this brother, anybody who goes out here to try to be a part of his organization, you are doing it under your own cautions, because we already know what that is. That is a government entity, bruh. That is a government entity, bruh. And if you are messing with him, you messing with the feds, bro. And you're going to get whatever you get.
We're willing to work with any organization that stands for the rights of every living person. Any organization that stands against imperialism, attacking immigrants. Now, if you're out here raping people and killing people and selling drugs and different stuff like that, yeah, deport them. But those people out there that are just working hard, trying to provide for their families, trying to escape the guerrilla warfare and the cartel warfare that's happening in their countries to come for that promise of the American dream.
Now listen, he's making himself offer, like he said, he's offering his services, right? He's offering his services. Right? We're here for anyone. That's an interesting words to use, right? Let's rewind that just so you guys can hear that again.
These Panther patches will no longer be on my uniforms. Me and my comrades stand independent. We're willing to work with any organization that stands for the rights of every living person, any organization that stands against imperialism, attacking immigrants. Now, if you're out here raping people and killing people and selling drugs and different stuff like that, yeah, deport them. But those people out there that are just working hard, trying to provide for their families, trying to escape the guerrilla warfare and the cartel warfare that's happening in their countries, to come for that promise of the American dream that the United States of America Incorporated lies about, we feel that they shouldn't be bothered, and we're willing to stand beside them to ensure that they're not. All power to the people. All power to the people.
Yeah, I ain't got much for that, man. Like I told y'all, this dude is a fake, a lame, and a liar. A real liar. So let's get into a little bit of kind of some of the commentary that was surrounding this dude. Let's go here. Yeah, let's go.
You know, the guy that's lighter than me, claiming to be Black Panther. Well, turns out he's a SMEGS offender a few times over. This is the guy leading the way for the march for the Black Panther Party. So, in the words of the great Forrest Gump, sorry I ruined your Black Panther Party.
So, as you saw, that he is an S offender. That was also brought up. Aren't you guys seeing a pattern here of these people who try to be a part of the organizations? There's something that has something to do with compromised, and we'll leave it there because we know with the compromised and little people who are underage, there's a connection there for them being used as government operatives. Now, that's not to say that leverage isn't leverage, but I would think if I'm somebody who's partaking in those type of activities, I get caught, the government may need my services, and in order for me to not have to do the time for the crime, I'd be willing to listen to the BS that goes on. And this is what you have here. And that's why I said I don't care about being first when it comes to this type of stuff. I care about being accurate. I care about the facts being true. I care about letting the story play out and letting the person tell on themselves. And so I saw Paul Birdsong being, hit from all different angles, justifiably so. And once you're underneath that pressure cooker and once that spotlight is on you, how do you react? You pay attention to that. And so I saw, oh, yeah, this is getting hot now. And sure enough, now he had to come out. He had to announce it. He had to take off the flag. And now he's being, outed as an S offender. And, it's getting crazy, man. But this is just what happens. The internet is undefeated, man. If you out here doing BS, whatever you want, it'll be exposed, man.
Can we please stop cosplaying Black revolutionary leaders from the past and just be yourself? Because this guy, Paul Birdsong, is now trying to reintroduce the Black Panther Party, and it's just not hitting for me. Whether it's Paul Birdsong or all the people online trying to mimic Malcolm X and be the 2.0 version of him, it's like you are never going to repeat that. And you know why you aren't going to be able to repeat that? Because that person was able to form their beliefs off of lived experiences. You are getting your experiences off of reading a fucking book. It is never going to be genuine because it is not a lived experience for you. You are just getting your information from a book. And that's why when you try and explain his teachings, it doesn't work. It doesn't hit because you are not the one that created it.
And that's just the facts, man. You can only piggyback so much. We live in the reaction world. Everybody makes a reaction to, certain video or an interview or, a talk or a speech. And so naturally, it's very easy to co-opt a talking point based on that little vacuum, right? Not understanding, like he said, being boots on the ground, being in the community, actually doing the work that's necessary to come to certain conclusions. They weren't a part of that movement. They weren't in those streets. Like he said, you weren't out there during those times where it was the worst. This was the hardest time to be on that. And they were out there risking it every single day, feeding their people, making sure that their communities were policed correctly, and risking their lives to do so, okay? Because a lot of these people, they were getting into real shootouts with the federal government, all right? Getting into it with police officers, all right? This wasn't just some costume that you could put on. When they were actually out here patrolling the community, it was at the risk of their own health. So when people try to co-opt these type of things and just try to make it seem like it's just a patch that you can just put on and just go about your day, it's not the same, family. It's not the same. You're not cut like that, bro.
And it's like the people that you hate, like me or others, that make their opinion based off their lived experience. That is why you hate us. You go and have to read a new chapter to get your opinion. We have to go through our lived experience. So like I said, whether it's Paul Birdsong trying to be the Black Panther Party or all you people online trying to be Malcolm X 2.0, you are never going to recreate that magic because they created that magic off of their lived experience. And you read a fucking book.
Oh, y'all now familiar with this guy right here, Paul Birdsong, the guy who's going around screaming he's the new chairman of the Black Panther Party.
Now look, this was when he was a Suwu. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep it that. I'm gonna say that. This is when he was so whooping. You feel me? And so it's funny. Like I told you guys, it's funny. The internet is so undefeated. Like you could, a lot of people, and this is something that I've noticed since, you know, starting to make more content on this side of things, you know, because I came from a music background. But when I see how a lot of people, they talk about getting caught up in a time loop, right? Like a lot of people get caught up in a certain ideology or a certain, you know, talking point, and then they have to shift, right? They have to shift those talking points because what happens? The algorithm shifts, right? So naturally, you start off, you big blooding, you doing all this, you feel me? Claiming allegiance because maybe that was the hottest thing that you was on. And like I said, maybe you got a little talking to from, maybe it was a local or federal. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it was both, who knows? But in reality, like people were going through the videos and they're going through the history and they're like, hold up, how you a blood? But then now you an activist for the Panthers? Like what, where's the pipeline? Like what is justifiably so? We must always look into these people. Gone are the days of people just coming in and saying, hey, man, I'm this, and y'all just got to believe me. No, that's why I said it's important. Right now, more than ever, people have to show their work, y'all. We got to see it. You can't just be on here talking, man. You can't just come on here making threats. You can't just come on here representing a certain organization, and we know for a fact that they would not move the way that you're moving. They would not say the things that you are saying. They would not invoke that level of attention based on what they were trying to do and accomplish. We understand this. And so from our perspective, yeah, it was a problem and we seen it from a mile away. And that's why so many foundational Black Americans, as soon as this happened, it was like, nah, bro, hell nah, this dude is a fraud. You know what I'm saying? He false flagging. And turns out he actually was. Turns out he was hood hopping, like they like to say over here in SoCal.
I want y'all to take a look at this footage right here that I found.
Chief, of an interview we did 2 weeks ago with a protester. He talked about protesters in Portland being taken in unmarked vehicles by agents. But during the interview, he talks about gangs in Lansing.
You come try to snatch one of us, the rest of us gonna blast them.
You better do that while we not with each other. And then you come to Sandhurst with the Pyrus and the Gangster Disciples is linked up at and try.
Now, doesn't that sound familiar? Doesn't that sound eerily similar to how he was talking about ICE? You cannot make this up, guys. You cannot make this up, man. Literally almost to the same exact cadence. If they come over here, we're going to put a hole in them. All right. If you come over here, this street, this is what we going to do. Oh, word. Listen, man, I told y'all, bro. It's all a play. It's all a play. All of it. The internet is not a real place, man. You got to, like, this would be a Dave Chappelle skit in any other world. This is literally a Dave Chappelle skit. Like, what?
An interview we did 2 weeks ago with a protester. He talked about protesters in Portland being taken in unmarked vehicles by agents. But during the interview, he talks about gangs in Lansing.
What?
You come try to snatch one of us, the rest of us gonna blast them. You better do that while we not with each other. And then you come to Sandhurst with the Pyrus and the Gangster Disciples is linked up at and try to snatch somebody over there. I dare you.
All right, look, there's a pattern here, right? There's the threats, there's the exaggeration of the language, there's the aggressive nature of it all. Fam, this is why the internet is so interesting, man, because like I said, so many people can get on here and they can say whatever they want, but time will always tell us the real story. Can we go back in time and look and see if your stories align? Are you who you say you are? And now you got to prove that to us, sir or ma'am. You feel me? Y'all got to prove that now. It can't just be, hey, I'm on the internet. Y'all got to follow me now. I'm the new leader of the Black Panther Party. Like, who? Who are you, bro? And as we should, like I said, foundational Black Americans, we now have to make sure that we are vetting every single person who tries to align themselves with organizations and things that have directly affected our community. We must look into you. We must do our research, see what your lineage tells us. Then we also must see if you are who you say you are with your actions. Like he said, we're going to be supporting and doing all this stuff in the community. Bro, show your work. We got to see it, fam.
Make sure you get this in Sandhurst. That's Sandhurst. Come over there and try to take somebody.
This dude
Not
is
only do we have that
federati.
footage, but come to find out, your man's a sexual offender. Sexual offender. Register.
Offender, y'all. An offender. Okay? This is who they wanted to roll out here to have some Black Americans follow behind thinking that this was for the cause. This was who they rolled out here. This is the definition of a Trojan horse, just empty, full of danger on the other side of it. All right? Something that signifies, hey, man, there is an all-out attack right now on foundational Black American delineation and what we have been able to do through what? Our lineage and us using our platforms collectively to say, you know what, guys, we're good. Y'all got it. Go ahead and handle your business. We're going to be over here building. We're going to be over here figuring out what we have to do. What's our next move? We're going to be over here passing legislation for us. We're going to be over here looking for politicians who are foundational Black Americans. I got friends, okay, who are getting into legislation, who are going for those seats to get voted in so that they can make sure that they take care of us. All right? And please believe me when I tell you, all right? Please believe me when I tell you, as soon as the homies get in there, Your boy about to be politicking. All right, your boy about to be politicking. All right, I'm about to be on some real political type of time. You feel me? To make sure that my specific side of things is taken care of. That's all I gotta say. All right.
Sexual offender. He gotta register. He gotta register.
Offender.
This is why I keep telling
Offender.
y'all. I keep telling y'all. Y'all keep trying to argue with me in the comments. Y'all have to stop blindly following people that just pop up out of nowhere with a cause. This man is an agent. He is an agent that is working for the government in some way, shape, or form. I do not believe this man has free will and he's out here making decisions on his own. I've seen him as a Pyru. I've seen him dressed as a blood. I've seen him in a Michael X outfit. He has identity crisis. He has identity crisis.
He's an agent, man. He's an agent. This is what they talk about, the costumes and, you know, the undercover operatives. This is literally one right here. We got one, y'all. We exposed one of them straight up in real time, okay? This is all happening right now, currently. In real time, we have exposed a government agent in real time, y'all. Literally a government agent. Like what? Yes, 100%.
Huey P. Newton's daughter is filing a lawsuit against this man for using the Black Panther name and image.
Yeah.
But y'all, please stop following false prophets. Don't J. Cole got a song about false prophets? Nothing that this man is doing is beneficial to the Black community. Fighting and combating ICE is not beneficial to the Black community. I don't care what no one has to say. And I got more information on Paul Birdsong. I ain't even dropped all the information I got. I got more. And then there's more. But the more videos he make, the more videos I'm gonna make, because I'm not gonna let y'all follow no false prophet. I'm sorry. Y'all can call me a hater. Y'all can say I ain't doing nothing for the community, but I ain't no offender that needs to be registered out here talking about so we need to protect the people from ICE. No, the people need to be protected from you, Mr.
Brother Kevin. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. I've been approached. Okay, so we gonna definitely, like I said, we're gonna watch. We're gonna, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna pay attention. But the goal with this is to build the profile. So we're gonna build the profile, and then once the profile is built, it's gonna be hard to stop somebody with the connections in the background that I have. That's all I gotta say, because I'm not finna be playing with these fools. Please believe that.
Birdsong.
Talk of gang activity in the capital city has police on high alert. It's our top story at 6. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lauren Thompson.
And I'm Sherry Jones. The possibility of a gang is causing concern for people who live in the area around Sandhurst and Averill Drive.
So they go into kind of his background with the gangs, but I don't want to have that. I want to go more into, I think there was another video here that was by Hassan Campbell that I liked. And we're going to look at Hassan, give his opinion real quick. Let's see here.
And this is an ongoing investigation. So once we learn more, we will make sure to share that with you.
We already seen what the conscious community is capable of. That's why it was destroyed. You feel where I'm coming from? There's a lot of master manipulators. There's a lot of CIA going on. There's a lot of FBI going on when it comes to the conscious community. This is why we having this conversation, and so many people don't trust this brother coming from the Black Panther Party.
Now listen, now this is where now we can start. I can put on my foil hat, y'all. Now we can start. This is what I love about this shit. Now I can have fun with y'all. All right. So I've been on the internet for a while. Like I said, I used to be in the music industry. You know what I'm saying? I've done a lot of things, right? But the goal a lot of times, where I started at least, right? Because I'm from the generation right before the internet became what the internet became, right? Right before people were actually using smartphones. I'm right there. I'm in that bridge. They call it the bridge generation. That's me. I'm part of that. So when we first got onto YouTube in general, just YouTube, internet, forums, like that whole world, it was all about conspiracy theories and knowledge of self, meaning like what he was talking about, the conscious community. And the conscious community was all about information, endless information about Black history, Black American history, African history, spirituality, right? Mindfulness and psychological understandings, right? Understanding about what the government did to Black Americans, the psychological effects and experiments, right? It was a lot of that. It was talking about aliens and connection to the pyramids and just that whole world. That was early YouTube. Early YouTube, that was all that was on here, was just conspiracy theories, the conscious community, and sports highlights. But that was like the hottest shit, was the conscious community if you was a Black person like me. You feel me? Especially one who was doing his own knowledge of self journey at that time. And so I completely understand what Hassan Campbell was talking about, where the CIA, the FBI infiltrated into the conscious community because we saw what happened to young Pharaoh, right? Everybody talks about what happened to young Pharaoh and just how quickly he rose to the top, but then he went crazy, right? That's what they say. But in reality, we understand what that was, but the power is what we're talking about here. And so now, right now that we're seeing delineation for foundational Black Americans and how we've chosen to gatekeep and protect our lineage and what we represent. Now we're starting to see the government operatives, the agents trying to be infiltrated into the community, right? Trying to shift the conversation away from reparations, trying to shift the conversation away from us focusing on ourselves, trying to shift the conversation towards what? Us putting our bodies on the line for everybody else, which is the default when it comes to activism and speaking out against the powers that be. Foundational Black Americans, that is our archetype. We are the ones, we are the David against Goliath, okay? We are David. We are the children of David. If y'all want to get deep, we can get deep, but this is where I keep my mindset. Being that we have always been the underdog, we've always been the ones who know how to fight. We know how to fight, okay? Everybody else, they have to be forced into this. This is not their natural stance. And that's why it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't look the same, because it's not. It's just not, okay? It is a government psyop that they have used to try to continue the oppression of the people, regardless of how you may feel about that. We have saw, and like I said, we watched this in real time, y'all. We watched them roll out a government agent trying to perpetrate him to try to gaslight and virtue signal to foundational Black Americans so that we can get out there and lose our lives behind something that does not help or benefit us, like the brother just said. And so that's why I just stay my mind, my business, man. We got to worry about what we got to worry about. The goal with this channel, Elite Media, everything that we do over here is to expose the truth, to make sure that we are holding the line, and to make sure that we do not allow these people to come over here and play with our name. You will not play with our name. You will not play with foundational Black Americans. You will not play with the name of the Black Panthers. You will not play with organizations who have held stature in our community and who have made waves in history. You will not disrespect our ancestors. We will hold the line as long as necessary. Make sure not get this off. And so that's it, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know me, I only do lives for about an hour because I'll be having stuff to do. But I wanted to make sure I added this one to the catalog because we ain't messing around, man. We got to make sure we continue to hold the line, speaking on truth and shaming the devil. All these fake CIA operatives, FBI operatives, they gotta go, man. You gotta be careful out here. We gotta keep your head on a swivel, y'all. Make sure that we are keeping our eyes open and we're calling out these fake wannabes, man, because they're gonna be the ones who try to spark something between people that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. And that's foundational Black Americans. So salute to all you guys out there. Much love to the chat. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, man. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs, and we cannot do that without you guys' support. So make sure you guys continue to like, continue to subscribe, because we're going to get there one day, all right? So salute. My name is Brandon B, and I'm out. Peace.